We don't condone the use of any illegal substance or any illegal activity. This video is intended for instructional and educational purpose only. Watch at your own risk. Viewer discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In the garden where the green leaves sway, see bunnies rolling up, we light it our way. Mr. Guinness got the bongs, we puffin' all night. Talking cultivation, yeah, we're feeling alright. Light it up, feel the vibe, let it be known. Garden Cultivation Network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night. Wednesday to Friday, we keep it alive. Cannabis talks, everybody's feeling high. Sharing secrets of the grow is a sacred art. In this cultivation game, you gotta play your part. Keep it real, keep it tight, watch the plants grow. Garden Cultivation Network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Yes, yes. How's your week been so far? Halfway through? Oh, she's already taking her lungs out.
That's right. No, it's been a good week. Like you said, we're halfway through, so that's exciting.
Yes. I'm excited to get through to Friday. It's always a good
Yes.
day.
Yes.
But yeah. This past Wednesday we had Gambit Growing on. That was a good show.
Yes, that was so much fun.
A lot of good information. As I said on Friday night, he's super, super nice guy. Very, very humble. And yeah.
Yes, so if you missed the episode, you could go back or you could find it over on Spotify under Garden Cultivation Network.
Yes, yes. And we've been working on our cannabis history video, and we're so close to being done. It'll be done, I'm going to say by Friday, so it'll be out anytime probably after Friday. I don't think we've decided on a day yet, but it'll be very, very soon. Very soon.
Yes, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, yes. And yeah.
Friday, it's Show Your Grow. So if you're new here, every Friday we get everybody to come on if they want to show off their gardens, and we talk about that for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
Good time. I love having people come up and show their gardens, and we learn all about how they're doing things. We get to see that there isn't just one way to grow this plant. There's a million ways to do it, and if a certain way works for you, then it's the right way. There's no wrong way to do this as long as it's working for you.
Yes.
Nobody can tell you it's wrong. So
that's right.
Everybody keep doing what you're doing. Come show your plants on Friday night. We want to see, we want to learn, and we want to teach. So.
And with that being said, I apologize to everyone for all the accounts I've had these last couple of weeks. IG kept shutting me down, so I kept making a new account, and they finally gave me, I wouldn't say my original, but my original.
Your original backup.
So it's now back to See Bunny Grows too.
Yeah. Yes, which isn't your original, but it's your original backup.
One of them. Yeah. Yes.
It's the one you've been using for the past probably year. Or no, not a year, probably about 6 months. Probably about 6 months.
We'll say since about January. That's when my main got completely taken.
Okay. 4 months, 4 or 5 months. But yeah. We have a wonderful evening booked for tonight.
We do.
I've been excited for this one for a while.
Get into that. We also have the merch store.
Yes.
Which could be found, the link can be found over on our Instagram page and Discord as well. We are over on on Discord. The link is also posted on our IG page. And yeah, now we could get into the exciting parts.
Yes. Yes. Yes, I've been waiting for this one for a little bit for sure. And
Yes.
yeah, I don't even think we need to do an introduction. I think we just get right into it because I think once he's on the screen, everybody's gonna know.
Hello,
Good evening.
hello.
Good evening. Oh, you're
Oh,
there you go.
there we go.
Cheers. How you guys doing? Greetings, everybody. Chat room, how are you? Always good to see everybody in the chat. Wow, you guys are lighting it up. Thanks for being here. Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it, you guys.
Thanks for coming. We
Of course.
appreciate it.
No problem.
Absolutely. Yeah, so Bunny always gets mad at me because we always skip this part. But before we get too far into it, do you want to kind of let everybody know who you are, what you do, kind of thing? That for anybody that doesn't know who you are, which I
Sure.
would find that hard to believe, but
I've been around on YouTube for a little bit. Bingus 503. If you just go to Google and you put in Bingus 503, you'll see all kinds of stuff. And usually I'm on IG because they let me do what I want to do. Also on YouTube, Twitter. I have a DeviantArt site that you'll run into. But yeah, I just enjoy growing cannabis. I've been doing it now for 50 years, and it's just a habit I can't stop.
yeah. So I guess one thing I would love to know, based off of growing for 50 years, what are some of the big things that you've seen change over the 50 years that you've been doing this, like from when you very first started till now? Like, what's some of the craziest changes that you've seen?
Well, okay. So 1971 is when I first got stoned, and
Okay.
it really, I had kind of a rough childhood, and I wasn't able to sleep. I had a lot of post-traumatic stress. I didn't realize it at the time, but I was given a joint. I was peer pressured into it, and I got totally blitzed. And I did it right before a track race, and I ran my best race ever in my life. And so after that, I was really tired, and I slept like a baby that night, and I was hooked. And so I went out and started buying lids. We called them back then, which was a 4-finger ounce. If you put enough leaf, it wasn't bud. If you put enough leaf in a baggie to reach 4 fingers, you had a 4-finger lid for $10. And it got to be where it was getting too expensive. So guess what? I bought some fluorescent lights. You could probably call them garage lamps nowadays. They're fluorescent tubes. And I started growing, and that was 1971. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know what I was doing at all. Didn't know what a photo period was. Didn't, just put them in the ground and grew some amazing weed. I had a strain that was called Hindu Kush. It was from India. We had an exchange student at my high school that was from India, and he heard what I was up to, and he said, "Hey man, grow these." God, I wish I could find those seeds again, because
The real thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how old would you have been? Like, how old were you when this all began?
1971, I think I was 15. Yeah.
15. Okay.
Wow.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you didn't only get into smoking, consuming cannabis at 15. You went right for it. You went smoking, growing, everything right off the bat.
Yeah, you could buy a pound for $125 and $10 lids. You could make a couple bucks and get all your weed for free. But again, back then it wasn't it was just good. You got the good shit. I mean, it wasn't any names or,
Yeah.
and
It was
mostly,
either good or it wasn't.
well, it wasn't even bud.
Yeah.
What I mean? It was just leaf. And
Yeah.
sometimes you'd get something from Mexico that was all kind of smooshed up bud and seeds everywhere. I wish I had those seeds now, but I don't. It wasn't until like the 80s, I think, when everything kind of opened up as far as breeding and strains. And, I never really I got spoiled early on because I knew that if I could sell weed, I could always make a living. And even though it was illegal, I was, a risk taker. And so I wasn't a very good slave. I would get jobs and, I'd last a year or two and then I'd be unhappy and express an opinion and get fired usually, or I would just get fed up and quit. But I always had to grow going. So I didn't care. The job was to make me look like I wasn't growing.
The job was
Yeah.
the plan B. The growing was plan A.
Exactly. So
That's funny. No, that's
Bing-
cool.
Bingus is
So
actually a slang word for Crimson Girl. It's a slang word for weed in the Urban Dictionary. It's why it was my code word that we used when my boys and I, when they were in high school smoking weed with me, and they'd always, "Where's the Bingus?" And that just became my channel name.
stuck.
I love
That's
that.
cool. I actually, you know what? I'm glad Crimson asked that because I've always kind of wondered that.
It's a slang word. Nobody uses it except for us, I think. I couldn't believe it was actually in the Urban Dictionary, but it is. And my boy, I said, I need one word. I want a one word like brand, right? He goes, what
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Bingus? And I go, so I go to look it up and it's in the Urban Dictionary. I'm like, no way. Okay. So yeah,
That's pretty cool.
I love that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So do you have any of those seeds? Not the ones that you were just talking about, but do you have seeds from back in the 70s from kind of when
no,
you were first getting going? None?
no, I had some bag seed from 1996 that I grew that was pretty good. I don't know what it was, but it was an orange. I think it was Agent Orange, but I didn't
Okay.
like the structure. And I've learned breeding things through my dad and my uncle. Were into breeding plants and birds and things like that. So I always would try to make things better because I'd be very critical when I do something. I want to do the best I can. If a plant's not really turning out, I was like, man, maybe I could cross these two and get something that would be more appropriate to my needs. And I
Yeah.
just
You get
started.
something where you like one aspect of it, but it's not necessarily growing the way you want it. So you figure out which side has which and kind of go off of that.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll find that the structure is a little lacking. I like to grow Christmas trees just in my situation. I don't really care
Yeah.
for straws, and I want to see the true structure. And so,
Yeah.
but maybe the
I
buds
get
won't be very big, so I'll cross with somebody who has bigger buds.
that. Excuse me.
The platinum asset, I heard in chat, really I need to bring up Cav's snake oil because he's the one that really made that strain what it is today. I am running more of the platinum asset and I made a little sticker for it. We're gonna
Ooh,
include a pack of those in a giveaway here with
nice.
one of my books.
Hell
So
yeah. Yeah, that'll be
uh,
awesome.
but Cavs is the one that did it. I mean, he basically came to me after I gave him the seeds. He said, "Hey, can I do an open pollination and make an F2?" And I go, "Sure." Next thing I know, it's all over the world.
Right.
And
Nice.
I was just like, "Thank you, Cavs."
Yeah. I actually just germinated some of his seeds, the Lola psychosis.
Oh, dude, you're gonna love that one.
I've been watching everybody grow them right now, and I'm in love with what
Um,
they look like. So I can only imagine.
they're beautiful looking for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and big shout out to Cavs. Actually, I mean, if it wasn't for Cavs, you might not be here on the screen right now because he's the one that said this was a community requested evening. So he's been on me for a while. You got to get Bingus. So here we are. So shout out
yeah.
to Cavs.
Thanks, Gaps. Yeah, I am. He's in the chat room. He says, I have the Maui Wowie crossed with Durban Poison. I got one of them to sprout. I'm working on some more. So just so you know, Gaps.
So when you are breeding, what are some of the things that you're looking for right off the bat? I know, like over time, you're probably going to make some changes, as you were kind of just saying, but what is it that draws you to certain strains to cross
Um,
initially?
Good question. The Okay, I have a perpetual garden. So I'm always like every 10 days I'm putting plants in, and every 10 days I'm taking plants out. Every morning I'm
Okay.
trimming. It's a never ending job ever. So I want the best buds that I can possibly get that I like. And hopefully, if I like them, other people will too. So I look for a good structure and fat, resiny, very lots of ice crystals and a good aroma. Is, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
who can really argue with any of that?
No,
And
nobody can.
so, but a lot of plants are very bushy. And so when you go to trim them, it's like you got all this, most people consider waste. I don't, I grind it up for oil, but it's a pain in the butt to trim. So what I breed for is a plant that's easy to trim, that has nice nugs, very crystally, and a good punch, you know. And I
Yeah.
have about 3 or 4 strains that I've done that I never intend to get rid of because they check all my boxes. And I'm working on some more now. I'm crossing the what is it? OGKB 2.1. I crossed it with my double white cheese male. And here's why I did that. I like the OBKB or the OGKB. I'm getting it all mixed up.
It's hard to say. It's a
The,
tongue twister.
yeah, say that 5 times. But the nugs aren't where I want them to be. I mean, it's pretty stony, right? But the double
Yep.
white cheese has frost. It has more bud girth. It has the structure I'm looking for. Boom. Now I have in day 23 one now that's starting to show, and I like what I see. But it's only day 23. Doesn't quite have the aroma where I want it. But now I'm looking at another pheno of that does. You see, so you just get to be the connoisseur of what you put together. It's exciting, I think, primarily because it takes a while. You don't just get immediate gratification.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. It takes a long time. So I can imagine, like, after you finally get to where, because I imagine you kind of have a set destination in your mind, I guess. And then when you
yeah,
finally get there, after it could take years, could take 2 years,
yeah.
could take 10 years. So I guess by the time you get there, I mean, I would imagine it'd be super, super rewarding.
It's
Finally getting to, like,
Oh
you get that
goodness.
flavor and everything that you're looking for. You just go, oh man.
well, I just trimmed some Budzingus, okay, which is a cross of my double white cheese and blue diesel. And man, I'm like, it was so easy. I was like, it took me half the time. I got really nice nugs, and I'm just like, gosh, if I could get every plant to, kind of be uniquely different in this way,
Yeah.
I'd be a happy camper. So my main male is this double white cheese that I have that I keep using because he has the traits that I'm looking for. But the female is lacking a little bit of punch. And so I add it with like an an OGKB, usually I get at least one pheno that's a nice keeper, and sometimes even more. Platinum asset, man, that's almost every pheno is a keeper with that. Again,
I've been hearing a lot about that one. A lot of people are loving that one. So
easy trim, good smell, nice notes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the real thing about breeding is I'm just playing around. I'm kind of a small grower that likes to design small runs for my own personal benefit. You know, I worked for a place called Jupiter Seed, which was a commercial hemp seed company, and we did breeding on huge scales. Like we did like 80,000 seedling pheno hunts, and it'd be like 10 people, and it'd just take a long time. And to me, that's breeding. We had gas spectrometers that we could check them every inch of the way to see which direction they were going and which ones to get rid of, which ones to keep. And so I understand that aspect of it, but a lot of what I do is just novelty breeding for my own personal use. And occasionally you'll hit one like Platinum Asset that gets popular, and now I'm going to make it available after this run. I just put them into the with the mail. I just entered the mail into the tent today. So
nice.
There's going to be a lot of new strains. There's like seven new strains I'm crossing. So we'll see what happens.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's exciting. So you said that you want to do a giveaway tonight.
Yeah, I have a book.
So speaking of your book, we do have a question. What is your book about, and what made you decide to write it?
The book is it's called The Sovereignty of Cannabis. Can I put a link in the chat room?
Of course.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if you can or not because you're not a moderator.
Okay.
Anyway. If you put it in the private chat, I think I can take it and put it in the chat.
Okay.
We'll try it that way.
There we go.
Okay.
So, the Sovereignty of Cannabis, the green soul, is about that moment we were talking about earlier, where you're standing in front of your tent or your garden, and you melt into a multidimensional communion with cannabis. And at that point, you're really recognizing there's two sentient beings that are communicating. And so it's not your standard how-to, it's more of a recognition of what you're doing. And the books takes you down a road like we were talking about earlier, where it's scientifically proven that plants have emotions and that they are multidimensional, and that you can actually learn from them and they can learn from you. And if we get in touch with their sentient beingness, right, you can come up with some very unique and beneficial crosses in a breeding sense, or just an excellent harvest by paying attention to the plant and not so much to others that are trying to tell you how to do it.
Agreed.
Once you have the basics down and you're really focusing on the plant and you're getting into that multidimensional connection at least once a day, your garden is going to do marvelously. So that's what the book's basically about. It's not long. I think it's only about 80 pages, but it's
a nice. Like I was saying, I haven't read the whole book, but I've been kind of going through it, and like it's a very easy read. Like you get into some of these books that are, you're like, yeah, I really want to read this book, and then you get into it and you don't understand any of it. Where this is a very, very easy read. This is a nice book that you can burn a nice big fat joint, and you can sit down and relax and just, you know,
Exactly.
you start off by reading. I'll read a couple pages right now, and then before you realize it, you're 10 pages in, and
Yeah.
That's
yeah, it's
that's
pretty
the
good.
whole idea. That's the whole idea. And I'm I wrote it primarily to create a second income stream for myself so that I could stop my perpetual grow and take a break for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to keep going, but I need like a helper, or I need to take a break or something, because it's just the constant daily,
much.
daily starts to wear on you
It's
after about
it's a
10
lot of
years.
work for
Mhm.
sure. This dog, man.
Yeah, especially when you're doing it repetitively for years and years and
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
It's that, it's fun. I make it fun, but the repetitive aspects of it can be grueling, and
Yes.
over time, especially if you have to do it, there's no really getting away from it for very long. And I went to visit my grandson the other day, and I'm like, I got to get back. Why? Got to water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Yeah, well, you'll learn about that when you get older.
Then you can
it's
come
funny
help.
because
Or can
I
you
took a
just-
break. I took a break from Christmas until about a month ago, I guess. I just kind of got started back up a month ago, and during that time, like I don't want to say I was miserable, but I was miserable. Like I just I wasn't myself. Once I got the plants back and growing again, it was like I snapped out of it. It was like I was back again, you know. So yeah, I don't. It's hard taking a break.
Well, again, I cover this in the book. I mean, cannabis has been a companion plant for humanity since the beginning of humanity. I mean, you can
Mhm.
trace it all the way back to ancient Greece, um, in several different cultures. So it's not like it really assists in our creating a unity within ourselves, which then spreads to others,
Yeah,
and
Yep.
it's contagious. We're
I
we're living in a
I
world of I call it social separation, and there's not many things. And I think it's one of the reasons that cannabis is so vilified, is it creates unity. And they being those that want to rule over us little humans, they don't want us to be in unity, because then they're in big trouble, you see.
yep,
So that's
that's
kind of
very
the
true.
basis of it. And so it's why I have trouble working for the man. It's why I love working with my plants and doing what I do, because it connects me, it unifies me daily.
Yeah,
And
Yes.
I mean, I just turned 70. I'm doing pretty good. I can tell that my body's wearing out, but I don't think I would have made it this far if it wasn't for the plant. I mean,
yeah,
I'm the longest living Bingus in my lineage right now.
right.
It's
Hey,
because
man,
Bingus to the bongus, baby. That's why.
That's right.
that's right. If I look as good as you do at 70, I'll be a happy man. I'll be a happy man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's keep smoking.
Yep.
Keep it in your body. I take a Joe
And
tap every day.
honestly, I think the gardening is what really does it for a lot of us growers. It's not even like it is the smoking aspect of it or the consuming in whatever way you choose, but I was actually having this conversation at work today. I said, if I was told that I couldn't smoke cannabis anymore, I would still grow it just because I love it that much that even if I can't consume it, I still want to grow it because I love being around the plants. I love touching the plants. I love smelling the plants. I just love being around them. So I think I think the gardening for me is more important than the actual consuming it. As much as I love consuming it, I love gardening that much more. So
Well,
it's
see,
crazy to think.
you're in love with the relationship that you've created, and that's a forever type thing.
It's a hell of a bond to break.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it goes all the way back to the beginning of humanity. I mean, since humans have been here, we're looking to somehow unify, right? Whether it was
Yeah.
through magic mushrooms or psychedelics or cannabis. I mean, even in the religious aspects of ancient history, cannabis is a cursor for opening up the CB1, CB2 receptors in the brain to accept the balancing energy that comes from above. And it's just,
Yeah, because it was always used in like ceremonies of some kind and people getting together and, I don't want to say a party because it wasn't a party, but it was like some kind of a ritual ceremony of whatever was going on. So
I'm sure there's a bunch of dancing going on.
humans, oh, I'm sure there was dancing, laughing, all kinds of stuff. It was a party. They're just telling us it wasn't.
So yeah,
We
man.
know. But yeah, no, that's really cool. But why don't we get that giveaway up here, then we can get
Okay.
so people can start entering, and then we'll run it. I'll say we'll run it closer to the end of the show.
All righty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get a pack of Platinum Asset F1s and Green Soul, the book itself. And
That's exciting.
I don't care where you are in the world, it'll get to you. So
Perfect.
I'm not going to send you anything else other than the seeds because I can kind of hide them pretty easily. Just in case you're somewhere that's not cool to get stuff in the mail. We'll get
Yeah,
it
it's
there.
crazy to think we still have a lot of places like that, but we're getting there slowly.
Yeah, true. In the United States, it's totally, I mean, with the Farm Bill, pretty easy to get by nowadays. So I'm grateful for that.
Get that up there, or we'll try that one there.
So
Type
yeah,
Bingus in
to
the
get
chat
into-
is exactly
yeah.
how it's spelled, and you'll be entered. Looks like anybody that's already typed Bingus is already in.
There you go.
So yeah, we won't keep it up on the screen the whole time, but just that's what you gotta do. You gotta type Bingus, and you'll be entered in.
Awesome.
Yes.
So yeah,
Cool.
nice. So you got how many strains do you have right now that you're working on? You got 3, did you say?
I have several that I've completed, and I have 7 that I'm exploring as of today. They went into the mail was introduced with my double white cheese mail, and I run smaller. I don't grow huge plants. I run them in a little 1 gallon, and then I get them to be about, I don't know, 1.5 2 feet tall, and then I put them in a tent with the mail. And bada bing, bada boom, bada bingus. There you go. You know,
There was
I like
somebody, I think it was Crimson, who had asked which one is your favorite strain.
oh man.
Hmm.
See the ones everyone that ends up on my tray is the favorite. And today my favorite is the Bud Zingus. And the Blue Diesel really makes this awesome because it's New York Diesel crossed with DJ Short's Blueberry. And then I crossed it with the double white cheese to get this beautiful structure and nug meat that I have on my tray right now. It's one
So
of
you
my
got a
favorite.
blueberry cross with double white cheese.
It's
Be like
blueberry New York
blueberry.
Diesel. It's called Blue Diesel crossed with double white cheese. And that's what's on my tray. What was on my tray was the Bingus Berry, which is a very gassy, lovely, again, my Bingus Blackberry crossed with double white cheese. I can keep going. I mean, I have about 6 or 7 that I just will not part with. And they've been developed over the last 10 years or so. And I'm
Nice.
really excited about the new one with the OGKB crossed with the double white cheese. It's just looking marvelous.
Yeah.
I just
How can
can't tell
people
you.
get how can people get their hands on some of these? Like you said that you were going to be releasing some of these. So are you going to have a
Well,
website, or is it going to be just reach out to you and figure out after that how
once
like
once they're
paperwork?
available, I'm working on a website now that goes with the book I have a year publishing contract with a company, and they're building a website. So you'll be able to request, what's available once I get something available from the website, or just
Nice.
follow me on any of the, probably mostly on IG is where I am most of the time. And you'll see them start popping up on my stream. And that means they're available. And then all you got to do is email me or send me a message and I'll give you the details. But
Nice.
it'll be a minute. It'll be a few minutes.
Hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. You gotta let it happen when the time is right. We were talking about that too earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Waiting for when the time is right, but absolutely, yeah, no. I definitely gonna have to get my hands on some Bingus
No
genetics at
problem.
some point in time for sure.
No problem. No problem.
Absolutely. But for the giveaway book, are you able to sign that for whoever
Yes.
wins?
Yeah. So when you whoever wins, just email me. Again, my email is bingus503@gmail. And then I'll get your particulars. I'll sign the inside cover and put a little pack of Platinum Asset, the originals in there. And
Awesome.
yeah, it'll be sent out. You'll get a tracking number and all that good stuff.
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
So you were
So when you
saying earlier, oh, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead.
You were saying earlier that you got to know a bit of breeding through your family. I'm assuming cannabis was always an open thing for you growing up, or was it very hush hush? Or
Open? No. 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 My dad was older. He had me when he was like 50. He was born in 1907. They carried pistols, rode horses back then. He was not a fan, but he had 5 other siblings, and the youngest uncle, I think he smoked because funny, my first grow, it's in my apartment. I moved out early when I was like 17, so I'm still going to high school, and I got this 8-foot long light in the spare bedroom of the apartment with tinfoil all around it, and I'm growing, and I have the light on 100% of the time. I'm just thinking, man, it's going to grow, right? And they were. But my girlfriend at the time would go in there. She was very anal, and she would unplug it and plug in the iron and do ironing for like, I don't know. She's very anal. She'd be in there for hours sometimes. And then she'd plug the light back in, and she wasn't telling me, right, that she was unplugging the light. And so I went in one day, I started looking, and I started getting nugs. Well, I didn't know what nugs were. I thought I'd screwed it up. I thought I was doing something wrong, right? And so I went to talk to my uncle. I go, dude, what am I doing wrong here? And he goes, well, do you have a photo period? I go, well, what's that? And he goes, are you turning the light on and off? I go, not that I know of. And then I go talk to my girlfriend. And of course, I find out that she was. And I'm like, and then he explained the whole, how many hours on, how many off, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this is when I knew that he smoked weed. He goes, so do you got any bud? And I'm like, not yet. Not yet. I'll be back. So yeah, he actually bred irises. He was really smart, and he was one of the first guys to breed a pink iris back in the 1960s. So
Wow.
he knew what he was doing when it comes to plants. And anyway, that's one of my many little patches with cannabis.
It's cool. So what, like, how long ago did you actually start getting into the whole breeding? You started growing back in like 1971, I think you said.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take? Because you smoked and started growing almost right at the same time. So how long did it take you from that point to say, you know what, I'm going to start making my own seeds?
Well, when Grandmaster Level asked me to be the co-host on his show, and I was reading the questions, and a lot of it was about breeding, and I thought, God, I know all this stuff, all right, already from my experience with my family, with my dad and my uncle, and so I just started playing around. And the first thing I did was I created the Bingus Blackberry, and I did a significant pheno hunt. It was like 40, which is not close to 80,000, but it was 40. And I found one that I really liked, and it was a superstar. And I was like, well, where there's one, there's more. So I just kept playing on a smaller level. I quit the Grandmaster Level show, and when I quit that after I think 2 or 3 years, this guy came into my live stream that worked at Jupiter Seed, and he kept inviting me out to the farm, and I'm like, nah, I kept putting him off, right? And finally, he private messaged me and sent me images, and I realized they were only 30 minutes from where I lived, and he actually only lived about 10 blocks away from me.
Oh, geez.
And I went, whoa, okay.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I worked there for about a year, and they kind of screwed things up. The owner, Peter, the guy that came into my stream, was the head grower, and we got pretty close, and I got hired right away. It was kind of interesting, and it was very informative on how things go at that level. It was an eye opener for me. Great education. But they're out of business now because they tried to rush things. And that's a problem, all the time, is it takes to make things stable, because we were making feminized seeds. All right. And if they're not stable, you do not want to sell those seeds, because you can pollute a whole area, not just a crop. You can pollute a whole
miles
area.
Oh, yeah.
And they were working on a new strain, and I was going through it, and I said, he goes, how long? I go, maybe 2-3 years. And he goes, what? Nah. Oh, yeah. He goes, nah, it's too long. I'm like, okay. I go, you want me to stop? He goes, no, keep going. So, but then he took those seeds and he sold them. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to quit. He goes, why? I go, because you're going to get sued. And he did. And he's out of business now.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask, like, when you go into a job like that with already so much experience, because by that time you'd already been growing for 30
Quite a while.
years, 40 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you go into a job like that with so much experience, and now you're in like this commercial facility where you've been kind of doing it on your own scale, however big or small you wanted, doing it your way, like, I was gonna ask if you ever kind of like butt heads with any of the growers that were there.
No,
but
because I was not a head grower. They made me the head of breeding, which was interesting. And that's when I had a say, because I had more knowledge than anybody there about how to breed things, plants in general. And I'd read a lot of books, but when they didn't listen to me, I'm like, dude, I don't, first of all, I didn't really need working at that level. It's 7 days a week. I mean, there's no break. I dropped about 20 pounds. It's a ton of work, and it's enjoyable because of what you're doing. But when you're doing the work, and then you realize that the owner, first of all, he wasn't a real weed smoker. He was a money dude, right?
Right.
And he wanted the money. People were showing up there with suitcases full of money, taking out 5-gallon buckets full of seeds. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And they had a seed counter that would actually electronically pick the seeds out that were ripe and ready and juice the rest. They had a huge spiral thing that crushed all the plants, and all the seeds came out into this 5-gallon bucket. I was just like, wow, this is pretty cool. But in the end, if your ethics are not right, you will not succeed. And I don't
100%.
care what it is, really, in my opinion, that you have to go into with pure ethics,
Well, I think you got to have the love and respect for the plant before you can ever want the money.
Yeah.
Yep.
When I first started growing, I remember I went out and bought all these bags and sealers, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna be the biggest weed dealer in the world. And then I got my first harvest, and I was like, shit, I don't even think I could fill one bag. It was very humbling. My
Yeah.
very first experience with a harvest, it was very, very humbling, and I went, oh, I don't need any of these bags. I need one, and that'll be enough for me maybe to get through to the next harvest, but probably not. But yeah, going into it with money on the mind is not necessarily the right way to succeed, I guess. You got to go into it with the love and the respect for the plant and
The passion.
the passion. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the commercial identities out there that are doing it, they don't know. And here's the thing. I started thinking about, I was doing the numbers, and he made hundreds of millions at that facility, and he was sued for $2 million. So it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
here's your $2 million.
For him.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a nice day. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we're out of business. I go to my next scam, whatever that might be. You're making hundreds of millions of dollars, and this guy was. And also, I could tell, I'm very observant. He had some issues, with opioids and alcohol and a few other things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. But his paycheck always cashed. It was kind of, it was a great experience, really, to be honest.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, if you took nothing else, you got a good education out of it.
Yes,
You learned
very much
a
so.
lot from there. So yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. So I imagine you're able to take some of what you learned, obviously, and apply it nowadays to what you're doing on your own.
Well, that's why I'm really big on leaf stripping. We had a crew there that would go from one end of the 7 greenhouses to the next and just continue to just leaf strip. Why? People would ask me, why? So labor intensive. I'm like, and the answer is hormone production. You get a gushing of hormones to the tip of the branches. And when you're growing seeds, that's where you want the hormones to be. Or if you're growing buds, that's where you want the hormones to be. And I get into arguments about this all the time. I have seen the difference at a commercial level, and it works. Most people do not aspire to this. It's very labor intensive. Oh, let it grow naturally. No problem. If that's your situation, if that's your ideology, if that's a relationship that you have with your plant, then definitely do that. All right. But what I do is I leaf strip. I'm constantly leaf stripping. Every time I buy a plant, I'm looking at which leaf needs to go. And it's why? Because it makes my nugs bigger. And I'm also tweaking my pH now. When I was younger, I used to grow at a little higher pH level. And I noticed that my weed would be stronger. And I thought to myself, why? And then I realized that we're growing alkaloids. Okay. All right. And alkaloid actually rhymes with alkaline, or it's part of alkaline. So if you make it slightly alkaline, like 6, 8, 7, right, it increases the alkaloids. And does it affect the plant in other ways? It might. Pay attention. You see?
Yeah.
But these are just things that little hints that the plant has given me over time. And is it 100% effective? No, again, you have to pay attention to what the plant tells you. But if you
Yeah.
have it tested and you see an increase, ta-da, you have achieved your goal. So
Yes.
it's
Yeah. I imagine you have some, like, you'll run into some finicky plants that don't necessarily like it that high, but then you'll run into some phenos where they're loving it.
They're loving it.
Because
Yeah.
I've grown stuff where, you know, I keep everything at like 6.5, 6.4, and some of my plants absolutely love it, and some of them are like, no, what the hell are you doing?
yeah,
Take it up or take it down, you know? Sometimes they
they're
like it, sometimes they don't.
they're individuals,
So
and that's really the biggest challenge when you're doing a rotation. If you have a variety,
yeah.
Yes.
it's consistency. It's pretty hard to. I mean, you have to have a
How
balance.
does your curing and drying method look like for you?
I have a
Hmm.
closet that's cool, and it stays at about 35, 40 percent humidity, and in the winter it gets up to about 60. So it's really ideal in the wintertime. In the summer I have to kind of cool it or heat it depending on which area, which way it's going. But it's just a closet, and I will clip the plant, full plant, turn it upside down and put it in there.
Mhm.
And they go in on one end, and I just get pushed down, pushed down, pushed down. And eventually about a month later, I'm pulling them out the other end and doing the trim, and it comes out perfect as far as a cure. It's about a 60-60 methodology that I utilize.
Nice.
But I have to keep my eye on it because like the temperature's coming up now, and I have certain venting that I can do. Like I'll bring cool air from underneath the house to adjust the temperature with just a small fan. And it's MacGyver type stuff. I don't really have like a computer setup where it's all dialed in and I can push buttons to make changes. I have to kind of
Yeah.
MacGyver it a little bit.
Manually.
I mean, you've probably been doing it in there for long enough now, you know exactly
Yep.
what it's gonna come out
Oh
the end
God,
looking like.
yes.
And that's the
So
thing too. It takes a minute. You got to kind of dial things in. Even when you start a grow, you have to dial it in. I mean,
That's right.
well, it's funny because like I just moved, so I was growing in a completely different place before Christmas. And now I've just moved and I'm on my first grow in this new place. And I was like, shit, you know what? I was like, I could do everything exactly the same, but I'm in a totally different house now. And my environment might be totally different. I said, like, shit, this
Mhm.
first one or two grows is gonna be me just trying to figure out
dialing
um
it in. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I was growing on a main level of a house before, now I'm growing in the
Now you're
basement of a house.
Yeah.
You know, so down in the basement, it's usually cooler. Sometimes it's a little more humid, and you know, so I'm gonna have to figure out temperatures and stuff like that. And with us coming into the nicer spring weather, you know, I started this in March. It's still really cold outside. Now I'm going into springtime now where it's getting a little bit warmer and it's gonna be even getting a little bit warmer. And by the time I get to flower, we're gonna be in June, you know, May, June, something like
So
that. So again, totally different environment once again. So I'm gonna have to dial in like 3 seasons here on this one grow
well,
in a new place. So it's gonna be
so
interesting.
that's really for me, that's really the fun of it. I mean, to dial it
Yeah,
in.
the experimenting and learning what works and what doesn't, and yeah, I
It's so
think so. That
situational. Every situation is different.
yeah, and that's why I was saying at the beginning of the show, like no matter how you grow, there's a million ways to do it, and none of them are wrong. If it works for you, keep doing it. You know,
That's
I
yes.
true.
can't tell you that your way is wrong because we're in two totally different places.
That's right.
You might use a different light, you might use different medium, you might use different nutrients. Like it's all different. I mean, I can't say leaf stripping's not a good way to do it. You know, I don't know.
It's
Maybe it
it,
is. Maybe it isn't.
it's the way I do it. The
Yep.
the thing is, I pick up things all the time. I was somewhere the other day, and I was watching a guy using coat hangers to keep the corners from collapsing in on the tent.
Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
dude, I've been doing this for 50 years. I never thought of that. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And Gambit Growing
Mr. Gambit.
Solutions, he's in the chat, or he was in the chat a couple minutes ago. He has tents and lights and all his it's a company where he makes these tents and lights and everything. He actually made those corner pieces, so you don't have to use coat hangers anymore. They clip right onto your tent poles.
That dude,
Beautiful.
Gambit. I like Gambit. Good to see you, buddy. You know, I like what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, buddy. Keep doing it.
Genius. But we got about 5 minutes left. Do you want to run this giveaway and see who the lucky winner is?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Good luck, everyone.
All right, we got 40 people in there.
Do, 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 do.
I'm just gonna get the bingus to the bongus.
That's right.
Oh,
Los
Los
Bros. Congratulations.
Hell yeah. Nice. That's cool.
Congrats, Lois. Make sure you contact bingus503@gmail.com. We'll get you set up, brother.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I like that. He's a big supporter of our show, and
Yes.
man.
He grows.
He's been watching our show
Beautiful.
for a long time, like even before we were GCN, way back in the day. So he's
well deserved. Well deserved.
good
You're finally paying off for you, buddy. It's finally paying
he's a
off.
good dude.
Oh, yes.
That's cool. He's another one that kind of like you were talking about. You like breeding for plants that you don't really have to trim a whole lot.
Yeah.
He's another one that breeds plants that he doesn't have to trim a whole lot. Like you've seen his garden, he's got 1 million plants growing. Well, I wouldn't want to trim all those plants either. So you got some of his genetics, and they're minor trimmers, which are nice.
Well, we'll have to do some trading, buddy.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Nice.
Oops. Yeah, that would be cool actually. It'd be kind of cool to see you guys do some trades and then like work with each other's stuff. I think would be kind of cool too. Just not for like business or just for like a little side project.
Well,
I think it'd be neat.
The connection has been made. we'll see what happens from here.
Yes. Nice. But we got like 3 minutes left. Do you want to kind of tell everybody where they can find you? I know you did at the beginning, but for anybody that's maybe coming after that, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you? And if you got anything cool coming up or anything that you want to quickly talk about before the end?
Just again, Bingus503, pretty much Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Buy my book. Basically, the link's in the chat room somewhere. And I hope you enjoy the book. And if you do, give me a review on Amazon or wherever you purchase it. I would greatly appreciate it. I have a lot of new stuff coming up. Like I said, I just started 7 new crosses, and I'm looking at a couple of them right now. I'm very, very excited about that. So just join up here, and make sure of course, you're always connected with these great folks and my other sites, and you never know what's going to happen. And stick with me. We'll see.
Nice. Are you ever gonna do like an audio book? I know a lot of people love putting their headphones in and listening to the books. Are you ever gonna turn it into audio?
They want me to. My publisher wants me to, but I don't know. We'll see.
You got the voice. I think you could do that. I think you got the soothing kind of reader's voice. I guess.
We'll see. I don't know. I want to get this contract completed. They're doing a good job. It's publishing a book is another big learning curve.
I can imagine. Yeah, I'm sure there's a million things that go on behind the scenes that none of us even would have any idea about. So
It's interesting.
Crazy. Nice. But yeah, we thank you very, very much for taking the time and being here and kind of going over
Yes,
your story. I think we'll have to get you back in
flew
the future
by.
sometime, and it did fly by, and I'm sure there's so much more that we could get into. So we'll have to do this again sometime soon.
That'd be great. That'd be great. I really appreciate you guys. You're doing a great job. Chat room. I wouldn't be here if you weren't here. So thank you guys. Without you, there's no show. And
That's right.
I greatly respect each and every one of you for showing up. I really do. So thank you guys.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And
Thank you so
you have
much.
yourself a good night, and we'll stay in touch, and we'll talk very soon.
Sounds
And you're
good.
always welcome on Friday nights as well. So anytime you want to stop
Yes,
by on a Friday
yes.
night, you're always welcome.
Right on.
So, all right, brother, you have yourself a good
Have a great
evening, and
night.
we'll talk soon.
That was so good. It flew by.
It really did. Like,
I know.
it really did. What a
I
good
feel
dude,
like we
man.
could have touched on quite a bit more too.
Oh, I think so.
Yes.
We kind of went over some of the stuff like that he's doing now, but I think we could start off at about 1975 and continue. You know,
Nope.
I think yeah, there's a lot of information in his head. Like he said, he's been growing for
Yes.
50 years. So this man has seen some things that none of us have ever even thought of.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for being here. And congratulations to the winner, Lowe's Grows.
Ooh,
I think
hell yeah.
that's actually really perfect. And
Yeah, I think that's great.
they
I would
should
have been happy to see
definitely,
anybody win, but
yes.
Lowe's Grows has been such a big supporter since day one, so he's very well deserved. So, but yeah, Friday night, come show your grow, come hang out, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Get some merch we got a link on our Instagram, on my Instagram, as well as the Garden Cultivation. I'm not sure if Bunny's put it up yet because she's been through 16 accounts this week. So she probably hasn't had a chance, but I'll also get it up on YouTube at some point in time when I remember. And what
So
else?
a
There's
little teaser
Spotify.
for next week. Guess. Do you remember? Because I do. I'm almost positive.
Yep, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
So next week's guest is somebody in the community that we all know and love.
He's in the chat actually. Or he
Dun, dun,
was. He might not be.
dun.
Oh, Elle said it already.
Oh. L. So yes,
Yeah.
we have L Canisaur coming on.
Yes,
So
yes.
definitely stay tuned for that because that one's going to be, I think, really, really fun and entertaining as well.
Yeah. Elle's got a cool story, man. Elle's been doing some cool shit. And yeah. He's fun to chat with.
Oh, he said next week's guest stinks. That's what L said.
Oh. Oh shit.
All
Oh
right.
well.
So yes,
I can't smell him through the camera, so
that's right.
only he's got to deal with that. But yes. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you guys Friday night.
All right. Have a great night.
Peace.